graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
So, do you come to Milwaukee often?
Well, I'm a regular visitor here, but Milwaukee has certainly had its share of visitors. The French missionaries and explorers were coming here as early as the late 1600s to trade with the Native Americans.
In fact, isn't Milwaukee an Indian name?
Yes, Pete, it is. Actually, it's pronounced Miliwake, which is Algonquin for the good land.
I was not aware of that.
I think one of the most interesting aspects of Milwaukee is the fact that it's the only major American city to have ever elected 3 socialist mayors.
Does this guy know how to party or what?
Got voices in my head. Just can't get them out sometimes.
This is a meeting explosion. You're listening to Two Strangers on Podcast. Bunch of douchebags.
Hello, this is Santa Claus. You're listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. You know who else likes Two Strangers One Podcast?
My mom! A bunch of a-holes.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And hopefully that's not too confusing. I'm Chris with a C.
I'm K-Riss.
DJ,
yeah, DJ K-Riss.
And actually, I mean, I'm trying to, it sounds weird. I'm trying to get back to what would be our origin story. Because I know in the last episode, I kind of went, and Paul and I, my usual co-hosts, went into like how we met. What, did I spam you about our podcast?
I think we just kind of met through George, the creator of Megas XLR.
Okay, was it okay? It might have been like the Megas XLR fan page on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of made like a Bring Back Megas XLR thing. I kind of neglect to do too much with it because I'm a terrible human being, and yeah, I kind of became friends with him. Great guy, always looking to do something new and do something more with his work, and
like super interactive with
just
the fans.
Super interactive, just super nice about it too. I mean, answers any questions you could possibly have about his work, and if you show any sort of like the mildest interest in his work, he cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, you know, I mean, obviously you and I are both fans of Megas XLR, and it, like, you know, only in this day and age of like technology. I mean, imagine, you know, 50, 60 years ago, someone like, oh, Walt Disney, if Walt Disney was on Twitter, or someone to that effect, where you could reach out to someone who was a creator, who, created stuff that obviously, there are a ton of people who like it, and then wrote back. I mean, I'm pretty sure floating around people have correspondence from Walt Disney and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's so weird that and accessible, and I've reached out to people on Twitter, people that I'm like huge fans of, and even if they like it, even if they kind of give like the obligatory like, okay, this person's a fan, so let me just like this particular tweet, to shut them up, it still makes you feel like, oh my God, they acknowledge my life and my presence.
Actually, just before the podcast, I'm not sure if you're familiar with SMBC Theater. They're a comedy group on YouTube. They're hilarious. If you're not familiar with them, I really recommend you check them out. One of the actors in there, she just kind of had this little thing where she said, "Yeah, I dropped a pizza brick on my foot, or a pizza block or whatever, a pizza stone." And I was joking back and forth with her a little bit on it, and she actually responded with me and had a little banter back and forth, and that just actually made me feel really cool, because here's this cool, awesome person who's made me laugh in amazing videos and has actually got somewhat of a presence, and they're taking the time to appreciate their fans.
Yeah, and like if you do something that makes them laugh, like someone who makes you laugh.
Yeah. That's so cool, because actually, and if you don't mind, I don't mean to be that guy, but the comment in question was, I asked if the pizza block was actually cool, and she said, yeah, at least there's that going for it. It was cool. And I asked further, well, do you mean cool as in room temperature, or was it wearing sunglasses at night? And she enjoyed that. So that was something I made me feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah, it's such a weird age that we live in, where people, like I said, you can just connect with people that like when I went to Comic-Con, and I spoke with Greg Capullo, one of the current artists on Batman, and it's like, and him and I, we had a conversation about freaking Breaking Bad, and and we had spoken as if it was just some guy, of course, obviously, I'm pretty sure a guy like him wants to be known as just some guy,
Yeah.
like he's not pretentious in any way, shape, or form. But that's the whole thing, is that it would be like as if it was someone I met in a bar, or someone I had met, where we're just having a casual conversation. And it's just, and of course, don't get me wrong, I have delusions of grandeur, and one day I'm like, I'm going to be famous one day, God damn it.
Well, I'm not laughing at you. We all have that.
And it's, I just have to keep that in my mind, that
Definitely.
if something, if I get any kind of fame or notoriety or anything like that, I have to, that I've been, I don't want to use the word blessed. That sounds kind of corny, but saying, like, I've been lucky enough that the people that I've interacted, people whose work that I like, have answered back, and then, I was like, I can't be a dick. And I always thought, oh man, I'm gonna get rich and famous, I get to be a dick. I'm like, no, I can't be a dick anymore.
That is kind of a. Well, I guess I can be a dick to certain people. Like, it depends. It's very
like when you hear like people, like when someone goes, oh, such and such celebrity came out and took pictures with everybody and signed everything. And I mean, don't be wrong. I think I'd be grateful enough in my fame that I would kind of do that. I don't know if I'm going to sit there for like 2 hours. Or 3 hours, what I'm saying?
Because sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's just like, all right, guys, I gotta get the fuck out of here, or whatever. I got something to, I mean, like I said, I just don't want to be, just my luck. Here I am. I've dealt with all these great people, and all of a sudden, I get famous. I'm like,
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I understand definitely that. But the other part of that too is that. Now, imagine, like earlier, what if you said earlier, like, what if Walt Disney had this kind of thing? Now, that also opens up another world of possibilities. Like, what if all these older creators had this outlet, and we realized how much of a dick some of these people were? Like, how these people get into like flame wars with each other and all that. Like, just can you imagine? Like,
Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy.
What? Rest his soul. Don't get me wrong, but like, can you imagine how many like Twitter battles Jack Kirby would get into today? Like, nobody would like Jack Kirby. Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, because we know the reputation, we know the artwork and the influence. But yeah, I mean, the guy himself, I mean, he did have a reputation for being like kind of rubbing people the wrong way, right? Or if I'm not.
Yeah, he was, smoking a cigar, always kind of gruff and angry, and I mean, it doesn't make him a bad person, but he just kind of real standoffish and real. But
zero followers.
But there's also too the thing that all this stuff just really just happened pretty much overnight. Yeah. I mean, this is a span of like maybe 5 years that we just kind of like came into this whole just explosive social media outlet.
Yeah, and it's weird, like when you talk to someone, and once again, like being a host of this podcast, like in the past, I had John Bogdanov, one of the guys from, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, Bogdanov. He was one of the artists like during the whole Death of Superman comic.
Okay.
And and it's like time has kind of like taken away the sting and the power of the fact that Superman died in the comics, but he was a guy in the freaking thick of it, when it happened, when it was like this earth-shattering kind of twist.
Mm-hmm.
And through social media, I'm like, oh, could you come on my podcast?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what? What?
And like I would have loved to hear that one, because you know what, it's such an interesting story too, that whole, just the events leading up to it, like the kind of nomad's land DC kind of put themselves in after killing one of their flagship characters.
Yeah, and then that's whole, and then like, okay, because he had, he had made some sort of post on Facebook. And then I had posted back, and it was something recently in the news, and it was something like kind of really fucked up. And I had made a comment, and then like Louise Simonson, the writer, one of the writers during this, like she liked my comment, and I'm like, I'm commenting on John Bogdanov's page, Louise Simonson, right? And, who have shaped the universe that because I'm more of a DC guy, you know what I'm saying? Like its rights and its wrongs and its faults and its boons, whatever you want to call it, I'm dyed in the wool DC guy. Nothing against Marvel, I'm just saying DC is always just kind of in my cup of tea. And it's like, here's people who just shaped the fucking landscape, and they're liking my comment. What? But hey, and then you realize that these are real people. I mean, they have political statements. They have like John Bogdanov is real big on like anti-net neutrality, or I mean not whatever.
Like he's for preserving net neutrality.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, okay. He's not
even and not choked, but I don't.
Yeah, he's not Ted Cruz.
He wants us. He wants us to choke. He wants the communication companies to choke the internet.
Definitely. But like, and the other thing too is like the idea that these people, like, they're really not too far removed from us. They're like really talented versions of just us. Because I mean, think about it. They have the same love of these characters that we do. I mean, they're making these things. We adore what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. It just, it is, they got past the gatekeepers.
Yeah. That's really what it is.
Yeah. I mean, somebody said, okay, I'm going to put this out there. Somebody said, okay, you're going to work for us,
mm-hmm.
Even if it's, I mean, even if that particular gatekeeper did it for all the wrong reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but it's just, the fact that, when you hold a book and like someone's name is on it, and one day, I mean, I've self-published a book and stuff like that, but it's like, you want that gatekeeper. I mean, it kind of validates you. It kind of says, someone thought this was good enough, that they put their money on it to publish it. Of course, they're probably exploiting you.
Yeah.
Pennies on the dollar. But damn it, I want to be exploited.
It totally makes sense.
Pennies on the dollar.
It totally makes sense, because it's just, even though you're going to get screwed in the end, it's still, you want that knowledge that, yes, I have a job, I am a working professional, this is what I do, this is what I've done worked my whole life to do. It's something special. I mean, and earlier you said you're a DC guy, and I mean, I grew up in both camps, really. Like, I mean, I grew up as a DC guy. I really did. I mean, I knew more about DC growing up. As of late, I've started to get a little more into Marvel, especially since they've been expanding their film universe and really just expanding on their comics a little more too. But you know what? It doesn't mean I stop liking DC. I love both of them.
Yeah. I guess we shouldn't kind of like polarize it, like when you're when you're in like fifth grade, like this, like that,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Do you like once again, do you like DC, you like Marvel? I can't hang out with you.
Yeah,
he's a dick because you like Superman better than the X-Men.
I mean, it was always the most ridiculous matchups. Like first of all, I hate the idea. I'm not sure about you. I hate the idea of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna see the movie. I'm probably gonna be a 12-year-old kid about it. I'm gonna probably love it. I don't know, but realistically, Batman is the world's greatest tactician. He's brilliant. He's a martial artist. He's great. All that stuff. If he's the world's greatest tactician, why in the world is he going head-to-head, toe-to-toe, one-on-one with essentially what, for lack of a better term, is a god?
Yeah.
Why would he ever do that? He would never, ever even reveal himself. He would find he would make other people fight for him.
Well, I mean, that's I'm just more. I come from like the camp of like, come on, guys, don't fight.
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
are awesome. Like, why would a good guy fight another good guy? Even if one is kind of perceived as a bad guy or can be perceived. But I just, like I said, I'm just kind of like not against it. I'm kind of against it only because it's just like, they should have went for the angle of World's Finest.
I was about to bring that up too.
Why does it have to be? I mean, of course, they're kind of like, oh, Batman v Superman, like it's a fucking court battle or something. Yeah, I don't, Batman. Is this a courtroom drama? Is this a court thriller? But it should have, and of course, maybe they're going in that direction. But I mean, can't you just jump right into it? I know a lot of the movies, they always kind of, unfortunately, when you take a character, when you take a movie that kind of exists that starts with an existing universe, but you want to expand it to like a more, there's always like that one person that's like, this person includes the audience, this person represents the audience being exposed to this world. I think Superman and Batman are iconic enough where I think you can just skip all the fucking origin stories, and just give us a World's Finest movie. You
really can.
I mean, do we really need another fucking origin movie? Do we really need, when Man of Steel came out, like, once again, especially that, like, Zack Snyder was kind of like, he's paying homage to the Christopher Reeve movies and stuff like that. I mean, can't we just jump right to it? Just give us a Superman movie. He's already Superman, okay? Superman, we know Lex Luthor, we know Metropolis, we know Lois Lane. Go.
And I think Zack Snyder, I understand paying homage to the Christopher Reeve movies, but I understand, like, he's got his own visual style he wants to portray, but throw some saturation into something, good God! Like, there was no color. Like, I understand, you want to make something dark and gritty, but you can do that, but make it look realistic. There's color in real life!
And while we're here bashing the movie, to me, Superman has always been hope. He's always been what we should aspire to. He's supposed to be, he is the leader of the pack, he is the ultimate human because he is alien. Mm-hmm. He's alien, and his job he feels his duty is to be our guiding light. And as corny as that sounds, and it's hope. And then you got this movie that is like dark and depressing and gritty, and his father's dying, and the movie, you're supposed to feel lifted up. You're supposed to feel like you just walked out of church or something like that.
Like you can have all the dark and depressing stuff about it as long as you have the uplifting hope that comes with Superman.
Yeah, not
like that makes it.
I tore a guy's head. I snapped the guy's neck.
Like, really? What the hell was that? Like, I understand that sometimes
and I understand this is from the same guy that gave us fucking the dark Dawn of the Dead. I loved Dawn of the Dead, and when you talk about
that owl movie too, like the Guardians or whatever that was, that owl.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you take like Watchmen is supposed to be depressing. It's supposed to be gloomy and
full of blue dawns. And...
I mean, a satire is not the right word, but it's it's sort of a satire.
It really, like, I mean, satire can be dark too, but it's kind of a satire.
I don't want to say satire because but I mean, it's supposed to be dark and gloomy and depressing and pessimistic. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be pessimistic, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? And those for Dawn of the Dead, which was in effect a satire, with Watchmen, I get it. Not Superman. Superman's the exact opposite. And like you said, work with the dark and gloomy, but then flip your style. Give us some, I don't know, give us some light. I don't want to see Kryptonians just knocking the fuck out of buildings, doing
exactly like
doing worse than any bad guy could ever do. You know,
And again, a lot of I don't want to be like all just purely in Marvel's court, but realistically, Marvel's had so much time to just build up their universe and expand, play around, see what works, what doesn't work. And DC has done the literal equivalent of poking a mud with a stick, because I mean they weren't thinking. They did the Nolan Batman universe, and those were good movies, and they did well for them, but they didn't really think ahead and realize what the end game for Marvel was. They kind of doomed DC within themselves. They're like, okay, well, we have this series, but now, okay, yeah, Dark Knight Rises was to compete with Avengers, but that's not where Avengers was ending. Like, I mean, from there they started going to their Phase 2 films, and they're just kicking ass and kicking ass and kicking ass, and now it's like, well, now we gotta play catch-up. We gotta do Batman versus Superman. We gotta do everything at once here. We gotta...
Yeah, I mean, recently, and this is sort of the stuff we kind of wanted to get into. I mean, they announced the cast of the Suicide Squad movie, which I will give them so much credit if they call the fucking movie Suicide Squad.
If they do, yeah.
You know,
don't call it Task Force X. Do not call it Task Force X. Call it Suicide Squad.
Guillermo del Toro said he just submitted his script for Justice League Dark. You know,
yes.
But my thing is that, can we just have a little fun, please? Like, can we have a little levity? You know, I mean, you know, you take a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, or in effect, that one of the movies that kind of started this whole ball rolling, Iron Man 1. You know, where, you know, why can't you make these movies fun? You know,
like they can be serious, and you can give these characters flaws, and they can be fun and serious and dark and everything at the same time. You can do all that.
It's just like Guardians of the Galaxy is the closest thing that I've seen to like a real blockbuster in years. Like, you know, like when and it came out like in summertime and it was in the summertime. You know, I remember like I was excited to see it. I went with my coworkers, you know, like and it really was an event. We went the Thursday night before it came out. You know, we couldn't see like the first showing like at 8:00. We went to like the 10:00 show. You know, we saw it in the IMAX 3D. You know, it was, and of course, you know, obviously I'm the demographic. You know,
yeah.
I know that I'm seeing that movie with a little bit more light than Joe Public, but it's like, you know, but the movie was fun. Why can't we have fun anymore? Iron Man 1 was so much fun. That's a movie, and then plus it's a movie where you can take if once again, I'm coming from my point of view, you know, being a guy or whatever, you know, you can bring your girlfriend who may not necessarily like comic book movies, and you know, she'll enjoy herself. You know, my coworker who is like she's like the furthest thing from a comic book fan. Like, you know, she had no idea what the fuck we were seeing. She said, "Oh, we're gonna go see the Guardians." That's what she called the movie, not the Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe she thought she was going to go see the Owl movie or something. Or that one about where it's like Santa Claus
and Jack Frost and all that.
Yeah. You know, because I remember she had gotten on the phone like with her mom. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, excuse me. She was on the phone with her son. Now her son, who does know who Guardians of the Galaxy is, she was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go see the Guardians," and you know, and her son was like, "No, you mean Guardians of the Galaxy?" And no, she corrected him. She's like, "No, it's just called the Guardians." And then I had to tell her, I said, "No, we're gonna go see the Guardians of the Galaxy." And so she was like, you know, she walked into the theater with no fucking frame of reference whatsoever. And she enjoyed it. And I think, you know, and the same thing with Iron Man. And even, you know, to the extent the Avengers, and I've even like my old roommate who was a female, you know, she was more just watching it just to see Thor. But, you know, it's these movies that are accessible. You know, why can't people just have fun anymore? I just want to have fun when I go to the movies. I want escapism. You know, okay, I get gritty, you know, and I get, you know, okay, this isn't some comic book, you know, it isn't some, you know, red, yellow, blue, you know, 4-color comic book, you know. I understand you're trying to break away from that, but, you know, Jesus Christ, you know, I don't want to slip my wrist watching a fucking comic book movie.
Well, and that's another interesting point, too, is like when you're saying that these are accessible for everybody. Was it 60% of moviegoers now are women? Mm-hmm. If it was 44% of the people who went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy were women. Mm-hmm. So roughly half of the audience is women. Mm-hmm. Where it's like I'm not sure with Man of Steel. I mean, those were much lower numbers. That was like we're talking like 20, 30% maybe. Mm-hmm. So DC is really missing the point here, and then finally they're like, okay, fine, we'll throw Wonder Woman in, and then they're just basically ripping her off of Xena.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm sure Gal Gadot is going to do the best she can. I'm not knocking Gal Gadot herself in the role of Wonder Woman, but it's just like you've had so much to do, and you're missing the point of these characters in these big cinematic roles. Like you have a goddess or a demi-goddess essentially. You have the equivalent to Thor in a female form, basically. She's a human lie detector with a lasso. She's got everything you could imagine. She's just as strong as Superman. What more could you want?
Now, mind you, when you take that in the DC animated movies,
yes,
who get it right on the fucking nose, and I think my favorite scene, and I forget, I've seen since I've watched all the DC animated movies, they all kind of melded into one movie for me, where it's Wonder Woman, her earliest experiences in our world. And a little girl shares ice cream with her.
Yes,
and she loses her shit. She's like,
yeah,
this is the greatest thing I've ever eaten. And when you take someone, I think what she says, like, what ambrosia is this, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
and it's like, can we have something like that in Batman v Superman, please? Can we steal the line scene from scene? Because anybody who's other people who've seen the animated movie are going to go see Superman v Batman anyway, and anyone who hasn't seen it and thinks it's new, they're gonna laugh. I want a scene like that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was Justice League War. That was a great animated film. It was. I love that scene. I love that scene because they got Wonder Woman right. She's going to be a little socially awkward. She's not going to have the full understanding of the English language. And you know what? She's going to be this Greek warrior princess. And you know what? Marvel's starting to really catch on to this. They're really starting to get some female characters in, like with Gamora. She was a fucking badass. Nebula, they did a great job with her too. It's just, I think,
and for those of us in the know, Nebula is going to play a much bigger role.
Oh, a huge role.
I love how, and I don't want to spoil it, but I love how she's kind of a minor character. You know what I'm saying? They put her in there. I mean, she's badass. I forget the actress's name, but I know she played Amy Pond in the Doctor Who movies. So, I mean, long story short, she has a built-in following. There are people who know her from the Doctor Who series. And now, mind you, I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but I know people who are fucking, like, rabbit at the mouth on, like, in love with Amy Pond, the character that she played in the Doctor Who movies. So here, and you kind of and I love it because for those not in the know, not spoiling anything, here's this character that in Guardians of the Galaxy has, she's there and she's contributing, but she's not a main player, and then, for the uninitiated, as things go on, you're going to realize, holy shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this almost forgettable side character is going to be fucking circumstantial. It's going to be, like, not circumstantial. It's gonna be,
but she is going to be huge.
Make shit happen.
Especially, like, with the relationship to the Guardians and Thanos and all that jazz.
It's so genius. It's so genius that they, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel, I mean, of course, they kind of changed the origin story and, because to the best of my knowledge, she was Thanos' granddaughter, if I wasn't mistaken.
Yeah.
But
and there was like some weird like time stuff with that too. That was all wonky. And again, comics get really diluted. they get convoluted and crazy.
But someone is looking at the big picture. Someone's stepping back and going, okay,
It's like who's the guy? Kevin Feige? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Feige.
Feige.
And also, like earlier, you said I think it's Gal Gadot, not Gal Gadot. But hey, who knows?
Gadot. Whatever.
I think it's a French pronunciation. But go on, I'm sorry.
Gadot. Whatever. But
you're talking about Kevin Feige.
Yeah, it's like Kevin
Feige.
Kevin Fucker. He's just sitting on Tumblr, like looking through, like, okay, what are fans gonna want to see today? Oh, they certainly aren't gonna want to see that. Oh, they're gonna want to see that. Okay. Oh, no, not that. And he's going through. He's just like looking at this. Like, perfect example. It would be the new casting, which we've known for a while who's gonna be, but now it's official, of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Benedict.
Like,
which I'm not. I don't. Okay, let's put it like this. I don't like it. That being said, I understand. You know what I'm saying?
He's kind of the hot button actor right now, kind of coming into the light a lot more. He's a good actor
and a real get. I mean, I have to, I like I said, once again, my personal opinion aside, I can stand back and say, holy shit, what a catch, what a get, what a I personally, he's not my favorite guy. I'll admit, like, I personally, I know a lot of people would disagree with me. I want Adrian Brody. Now, before you get mad at me, Adrian Brody, an Academy Award winner who already looks like Doctor Strange and is like the craziest method actor probably I've ever seen, who like with his role in The Pianist gave up his actual life to be depressed, like broke up with his long-standing girlfriend and gave up his Porsche and gave up where he lived, gave up his job, became homeless just to prepare for that role. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that guy's a method actor. He's nuts. The two people that one I would have liked, Oded Fehr from the Mummy movies.
Okay,
he's the gentleman with like the tattoos on his face.
Yeah,
one only because one I see it as he's had his hand at acting, but I think this would be a movie that would like really put him on the map. Not that, like I said, for me to say Oded Fehr and then I have to follow it up with saying the guy from the Mummy movies. It's not exactly a household name. He's a handsome guy. To me, Doctor Strange is always, even though he is traditionally seen with lighter skin, for some reason in my mind, I see him more as a darker skinned gentleman.
Yeah.
Of questionable Middle Eastern descent. And I'm being a bit of a jerk there, but that and or even what's his face, the guy who played Bullseye, or Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell?
Yeah,
I could see Colin Farrell.
And once again, nothing against Benedict Cumberbatch. To me, Benedict Cumberbatch looks like, they have that woman, she's all over like the internet, where like her face, she's like the woman that's had like the most plastic surgery ever, and she has like the most,
like the real doll lady.
Well, no, her stuff is like botched. Like she has like super high cheekbones and
the one who's got like the humongous lips and like
she looks like, her and Benedict Cumberbatch don't look too far. He looks
like he's got penis skin for a face.
He looks like someone who's gotten botched plastic surgery. Now, that being said, he has enough charisma that freaking women's panties are fucking moist when he just, when he's in a 10-mile radius, all the women in a 10-mile radius, all their panties get moist, and some automatically drop to their ankles. The panties drop to their ankles.
Just like, honestly, for a while, like, I was really, like, I really don't like Sherlock. Mm-hmm. Like, I know a lot of people hate me for that, but, and for the longest time, I wouldn't even call him Benedict Cumberbatch. I'd call him Butterdick Cumbunass. But you know what? He is a good actor, and at the end of the day, he's going to do the role justice, and I can't be mad. But he's got a huge fan base to begin with, and that's the thing, is Marvel knows that.
Yeah, they know he may turn me around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that close-minded where I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna go see.
Oh yeah,
Doctor Strange.
Of course,
I'm gonna go see it. I'm
gonna see it, and I'm gonna love it. I know I'm gonna love it.
And who knows? He may win me over. After Doctor Strange, I may become a Benedict Cumberbatch fan. Like, oh, don't talk about him, man. Don't call him Butterdick or whatever. It's not cool, man. But I just, like I said, I in my mind I saw Oded Fehr or Colin Farrell in the role. But I mean, once again, like you noticed, like you said, with that news, fucking what a catch. Now, what I'm going to do is we're just going to take a quick break, and I guess we'll get a little more topical. That was kind of the first half of the show was sort of just here and there. Then we're going to kind of get into the even more nerdy news, and we'll be right back with more dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc., 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com.
And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, so we were just talking about Benedict Cumberbatch. There was just a shit ton of announcements this week. I mean, just in the past, 24 hours. The Suicide Squad, and we had kind of mentioned that a little earlier.
Okay.
And get ready for, all right. Jared Leto as the Joker. Now, Jared Leto, he was in one of my, I would say, top 3 movies, as in Fight Club. I love Fight Club. Coincidentally, he's in the scene, he's throughout the whole movie, but, the scene where Edward Norton just says, I wanted to destroy something beautiful. And he's just smashing fucking Jared Leto's face in. That I enjoyed watching happen. So technically, if once Suicide Squad gets made, we can say that we've seen the Incredible Hulk smash in the Joker's face.
Okay. I guess that's a benefit.
Kind of like with Benedict Cumberbatch, it's one of those deals where I don't like it, but I understand why they're doing it. The guy's, he's just, and I love how these movies are pulling these actors. I mean, just a couple months ago, I didn't see Dallas Buyers Club, but apparently anyone who's seen it movie, is one of the best movies they've ever seen in their entire life in the history of humanity. But apparently he's top notch in that movie as he plays I don't know, was it transgender or transsexual or
transgender?
Okay. Okay, and then of course the one thing that I don't think one person has said it's good. Will Smith is fucking Deadshot.
I don't buy Will Smith as a bad guy. Nothing against Will Smith as an actor in general. He can be a powerful actor. He can be a great actor. You know what? Make him Cyborg. Even though he's a little old. I don't care. Make him Cyborg.
Well, the guy they got to play Cyborg, I love. I think that I'm not familiar with his acting skills, but just visually.
I missed it. Who did they have for Cyborg?
Oh shoot. I want to say.
Here, let me look it up.
I'm going to say Ray Parker, but is that Ray Parker? I think that's the singer for the Ghostbusters. Cyborg actor, and I know he's played Muhammad Ali. And Ray Fisher. Okay, not Ray Parker. His name is Ray Fisher, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not familiar with his work.
I'm looking at this guy,
but
and
look at this
you're
gentleman.
right.
He
right.
looks like Cyborg. Is it a little Cyborg when he's a little older? Because in my mind, Cyborg will always be 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
and by the time
stuck at that,
and by the time they get to the Cyborg movie, in another friggin' 6 years. This guy's going to be significantly older than what he is now, but I'm just saying, looking at him, I can see him playing Cyborg. And then, they always have older people playing younger in the movies, so Ray Fisher, not Ray Parker. Hey, they got Ray Parker Jr., holy shit.
He's only actually had one film before any of these. The Good, the Bad, and the Confused. I never actually heard of this, so I guess this is a huge thing.
Yeah. Well, so I think he played Muhammad Ali on a stage play.
Okay.
And once again, he's a stage actor. These movies are getting top-notch fucking actors. And people seem to fucking. How did we gloss over the fact that Meryl Streep was in Guardians of the Galaxy? It's so funny that like of all these movies, and part of, and okay, back to kind of like the Suicide Squad. Had they was it rumored, or were they planning on seriously trying to court Oprah Winfrey to play Amanda Waller?
I do not know.
No, okay, I don't think that's going to happen, only because I think Oprah Winfrey is just, she is
too big for that, and there's no money you could probably throw her way. Honestly, if there's two actresses you could throw into the mix, I would say, who's the lady who played Precious?
Oh,
she might be a little young for the role, possibly.
But yeah, no, you could. I think you can. If you now, she would just have to. And once again, it would be a flip side, because she doesn't generally play assholes. Like, what I'm saying? Like, she played victims. Well, she's played a victim in Precious, and then I know the other movie was Tower Heist. That's the only two movies I know her from. But if and that's, that I think would be a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? To get her, just to see her just being the biggest fucking scumbag as a man. In my mind, is the most hard at,
like somebody who could make Batman cringe.
Yeah. And that, oh my God, that for her, that would be such a, because I would have fun with that character. I would, and just to see her, and she's a good actress,
she's a powerful actress, amazing actress.
Tear it up and just tear into fucking,
either her or the Pine Sol lady. Like, no, you laugh, but think about it. She's perfect.
Yeah.
She's perfect. When I think Amanda Waller, my permanent favorite version of Amanda Waller is the Justice League Unlimited version that has been the Bruce Timm, the one that's been mid 2000s. I think that was probably the best version of Amanda Waller I've ever seen.
I don't like that they've made her thin and attractive.
Yeah, that's
whose fucking idea was that? Is this the same guy who thought Lobo should be thin and
Yeah, this charismatic gentleman.
No,
that's not Lobo. He's an angry biker.
Yeah. Once again, DC, come on, get on the fucking ball. It's like watching, it's watching someone you love making a mistake. You've been drinking, don't get behind the wheel. Don't.
It really is.
Don't make Lobo a thin, male model looking type dude. And
don't
make Amanda Waller. Don't make Amanda Waller thin and attractive. Amanda Waller's supposed to be a fucking ball breaker.
And I'm all for reinventing characters. Don't get me wrong. Always experiment with characters. Try and do something new with them. But, when you just completely forget the essence of that character completely and disregard them, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, it's... Okay, so kind of back to Suicide Squad. Margot Robbie? Margot Robbie? Weird.
For what's her name? Harley Quinn.
Which for her is, if she's smart, and well, I guess, I hope they don't give her a bad script or whatever, but this, once again, I don't know that name. I think she's been in Hunger Games. But this can be the career tentpole for her, where we'll know that name in about 2 years.
Well, this is my concern. How are they going to write Harley Quinn? Are they going to write her as how she are they going to make her the dumb ditzy bimbo Harley Quinn, or are they going to make her the I've got to impress Mr. J. I've got to do this. I'm really going to show my wits here. Because she is this very smart character. Mm-hmm. She's just kind of ditzy a little. Just kind of a little flighty. She's
incredibly intelligent, except when it comes to the Joker.
Yeah.
I'm saying, she's a fucking genius, but, as we've all known that one chick that, just does dumb shit because she's in love with a guy. You know what I'm saying? When you're in love with somebody, your rationale is automatically just hindered somewhat. Anybody who's been in love with anybody already knows that when you're in love, you already have poor decision making skills. So of course, how they're gonna write her, would definitely be making her kind of like a sycophant, kind of sucking up to the Joker. Mm-hmm. Where I would. I don't know. It's I just I hope they don't. I hope they don't give her the short end of the stick. Because this is a character that is a lot of people are in love with Harley Quinn. And hopefully, I mean, the bar has been raised so fucking high that I hope they don't. I hope they don't fuck that up. Okay, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, or as they just calling him Boomerang, just 'cause Captain Boomerang sounds corny. I, once again, not familiar with his work, but I believe he's been on the Spartacus series on Showtime.
Okay.
Once again, not familiar with him. Captain Boomerang's kind of a tough one, and I don't know if you've watched the. I have not watched one episode of Arrow. I've watched a couple episodes of Flash. He's I'm sorry, my phone was just. I thought I muted my phone. What was I saying? They in the most recent-ish episode of The Flash, they found one of Captain Boomerang's boomerang. So it's I don't know if they're going to try to bring him into this universe. Because these are all exclusive. It's not like the same guy.
Yeah, because I don't understand why they didn't try to bring the TV universe and the film universe as the same one, because again, I think that's a huge mistake on DC's part. But again, that's me nitpicking. But I watched a little bit of Arrow, and to be honest, I couldn't stand it. A lot of my friends were just. You just have to get through the first 5 episodes. No, you have to get through the first 5 episodes. The first 5 suck, and then it gets good. And anytime somebody tells me that, I already know the series is not worth watching. Because then it's going to be like, no, if the 6th episode sucks, then automatically I've been lied to, and I just had to watch 5 terrible episodes.
Well, the one thing I don't understand is that, once again, I'm a DC fan, even though I haven't been watching Arrow, but, I'll flip through pages of a comic book, and, then you see an ad for Arrow, and it's, a guy, rather impressive build, no shirt on, and I'm like, is this supposed to be marketed to me?
No, not really.
And it's, like with Smallville and just the fact that it's on the WB or whatever, I mean, it's kind of has that unfortunate, is this supposed to be marketed towards teeny boppers and saying it's not things that are basically not my demographic.
Oh yeah.
So I'm saying, and when I see a comic book, and I see an ad for Arrow and he's there without a shirt on, it just and of course shame on me for being so close-minded.
Yeah. but it's not even just that, but it's just the whole. They're again forgetting the essence that is Oliver Queen. Mm-hmm. Oliver Queen to me has always been this overly liberal version of Batman, who's kind of he's got a little bit of wit. He's not this super dark, edgy. That's not Oliver Queen. Yeah. Oliver Queen is silly and just ridiculous, and he cracks jokes all the time when he's fighting.
Yeah, he has fun with being a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not to mention he's just crazy liberal with all of his stuff. Mm-hmm. He's way, and he's not shy about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, this series, it's and again with Marvel and DC, it's they switched Hawkeye and Green Arrow. It's their personalities just switched.
Oh, okay.
Because Hawkeye, I mean, yeah, he's kind of serious, but even still, he's kind of joking now. I mean, the Hawkeye I remember was this dead set killer. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe I'm just nitpicking here at both universes, but you have again, I'm not enjoying the idea that everybody is telling me that I'm just being closed-minded about Arrow when, well, one, it takes so long for the story to progress or even to get any what most people would say good, and 2, when they totally throw out any notion of what I enjoyed about the character in the first place. The fact that he has fun and he's a lighthearted character to begin with. Mm. But that's just my take on it.
And then we have DC alumni Tom Hardy as Rick Flag, who...
Yes, Colonel Flag.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, I'm not super familiar with that character, and I should be. I know I should be, and I'm not, and forgive me for that.
It's kind of a Boy Scout, kind of. That's just my take on him. He's I work for the government, blank slate, big burly guy.
Okay.
That's basically his character.
Okay, sort of a Captain America-ish? Or not?
Kind of, only a lot dirtier. Like you follow orders, and your orders are your orders, no matter how bad they are.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Cara Delevingne? Delevingne? Like Avril Lavigne is Livig, whatever. Okay, and she plays the Enchantress. Once again, it's funny, but I'm a DC guy, and I don't know two of these characters. If it wasn't in a movie, I don't know. And the Enchantress, but once again, Suicide Squad has always kind of been B characters in my opinion, which is was good. I mean, you got to give B characters a little bit of got to give them a little love. So I'm once again, I want it to be good. I'm probably gonna like it. I'm just a little, it's the Jared Leto, Will Smith thing. Those two kind of just like, and it's like, and do we really need another Joker? Do we really, and I guess, I think they kind of have to put a Joker in there because at least like then, okay, people like, oh, okay, I know the Joker. Mm-hmm. Even though there's enough people I think now that know Harley Quinn. Like this should, in my opinion, this should be the Harley Quinn movie. Harley Quinn and some other people.
Like if Joker makes an appearance, it's one thing, but he shouldn't be a driving force in it.
Yeah. Now how brilliant would it be if they just fucking they do this whole deal and then fucking just axe out the Joker in the beginning of the movie.
I would enjoy that.
And then but then you're making these movies with the same around the same time as Batman v Superman. Which comes to question. Does that mean Jared Leto is the Joker to Ben Affleck's Batman?
Must be.
Which I don't know. It just doesn't.
And there's also the thing. There's also the whole thing too of. You have one movie so far. Of this entire franchise, you have one movie. And how many movies do you have in the works right now?
Yeah.
You have Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman. You have 4 movies right there off of one movie that did okay.
They eat Kevin Feige.
Like, you have... What have you done so far that has provided anything to just be like, yeah... This merits this. I mean, I understand you have to play catch-up at this point, but what have you done?
Yeah.
You're going to lose money on this deal.
I mean, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. So.
I do, but my fear about this whole thing is that this will bring about the end of comic book movies. And maybe I'm this just kind of alarmist, but I'm afraid of another Steel movie. I'm afraid of another comic book movie so bad that it kills comic book movies.
Yeah. I think, and you're going to laugh, I think it's going to be X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah?
I think, because the fact that they were promoting X-Men Apocalypse before Days of Future Past even came out, sort of, kind of like, it's like when movies, whenever they decide to make 2 sequels and they film the sequels at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's not a sequel where it's a part 1, part 2, i.e. like a Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded, i.e. Back to the Future 2 and 3. When they've announced X-Men Apocalypse before Days of Future Past even came out, I don't know, for some reason it just like and don't be wrong, I think Bryan Singer is going to try his damnedest, but I feel that like that will be the nail in the coffin, even though there's movies planned well after that. I think that will be like where fans have just said, you know what, that's it, we're done. Let's make Westerns popular again,
Well, that's the weird thing, is that with Days of Futures Past, I don't know what your opinion is on it. Like, I thought it was a good movie. It was probably the best X-Men movie we've had so far, but there was a lot of it that just made it feel really dumb. Just to me. Like there's so much unexplained stuff. Plus, one of the most frustrating things is Colossus is one of my favorite X-Men, and he just keeps getting killed the entire time. Like, really? How does Kitty Pryde get the... they never explain how she just gets the time-traveling ability. Yeah. Never explain. Never explain how Professor X is just alive again. Yeah. Never established. It's never established why, in God's name, they would even get Magneto to help stop Raven. Why would you... Like, first of all, if wouldn't future Magneto be like, yes, this is dangerous, don't get me. Do not find me in the past, because I'm probably going to be a little shit and fuck things up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe I'm being a little too harsh on the best X-Men movie we've had thus far, but I just feel really kind of like, I felt a little bummed by it. It's like, you know what, I was expecting, I set the bar at like a reasonable part, and yeah, you kind of met it, but it felt like you crawled under it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think X-Men Apocalypse. Unfortunately, you heard it here first, but
yeah,
I think that that's when we've hit the saturation point, you know, and that's gonna be, you know, and that's coming around the same time as like Batman v Superman, and you know, and it's I think people are just gonna say, okay, enough. Enough. Let's move on to the next genre. You know, whatever be the next. You know, and not that not the superhero movies won't come back, but you know, when things go up and you know things go in cycles, that's the down part of the cycle. You know, then it'll be, you know, we'll go back to werewolves or vampires or, you know. I predict the next thing I think it should be mummies. I think, you know, mummies are werewolves. I mean, we kind of had the vampire thing, we kind of have the zombie thing. we need even though the mummy was cool. Well, not the, you know, that one, that, you know, the one that ended up like turning into the Scorpion King and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think if they really tried, they can make mummies cool. Or
let's see.
You know.
Let's see. What should be the next big thing? Personally, I think I would like to see live action Pokemon.
Okay, now, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, that would have to, you mean it would have to be heavily CGI. And now, mind you, just letting you know, you're talking to someone who's like, I've watched maybe like, you know, I don't know, so maybe the first season of Pokemon, and then I have not played any Pokemon game ever.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, Pokemon was exclusively a cartoon. I have no video game reference.
The games are far better than the show, and I'm fairly certain that the most fans will agree with me on that. Because the games, it's a turn-based RPG, and I'm not sure how much of a gamer you are or anything like that. But it gets really just like ridiculous because you're thinking about what types of them you're using, what kind of move set you're using, what kind of skill set, what kind of training you're going to use. But yeah, just like the dumbest looking thing could be just a truck that will just destroy anything you have. Like a perfect example would be, well, like for example, water. What beats water? Electricity. That's pretty reasonable, right? I mean,
yeah.
Water conducts electricity. Well, there's also a type called ground. Well, ground beats electricity because it doesn't conduct. Well, there's also dual types, so water ground isn't affected by electricity, so that's a really mean combo.
You mean mud?
Yeah, I mean, there's mud attacks, so it's.
And I don't want to say that's where I get lost, but you know, and see, unfortunately, I mean, I know there's enough people that know about Pokemon that, you know, if you said, you know, had they not, you know, it's coming soon, you know, James Cameron's Pokemon, you know, it will make money like gangbusters, but you know, you would have to start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You would have to start with, you know, Pikachu and Ash, you know, and take it from there. And once again, you know, once you're talking to a guy that's probably watched maybe the first season, and you know, I don't, you know, I mean, you know, as I get as deep as like Jigglypuff, and that's about, that's about as deep as I go. When people go, oh, you mean, you know, whatever, you know, they've mentioned something, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. But you know, once again, I understand that there's a fandom and there's a respect and you know, I think once you get past the original 150 Pokemon, I think you're gonna lose me. Which once again, I mean, you know, if they made a movie like that, they're not gonna jump right into, you know, gold and platinum or whatever the case may be, and red and yellow and blue or whatever the fuck colors.
Well, red, yellow, and blue are all the first 150, so that's probably what they would start with.
What I'm saying is that, you know, I don't want to see Shia LaBeouf as Ash Ketchum, you know, and that's how they're going to start it, unfortunately.
Michael Bay directs Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. You know, it's gonna be, you know, I don't know who's young enough now that's like a snot face that will probably be, you know, the fat kid from Modern Family, but he's a little older and thinner now, you know, or something like that. You know,
yeah,
he's the new Ash Ketchum. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, and then it's gonna be the starting story, and it's gonna be him in his regular world life, and then somehow gets pulled into the Pokemon world, and Just get right. I hate these. I'm tired of these movies that stop giving us the character that's supposed to represent the audience. Just jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Give us the fantastic world. Well, if those who don't get it won't get it, those who get it will fucking love it. Okay, let's kind of. I can't believe. Well, Star Wars, the new Star Wars trailer, The Force Awakens.
Oh man. Oh, I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm excited for that. Like, I am just everything about that. Just the fact that George Lucas doesn't have a hand in it probably makes me very happy. And not to knock him, I mean, the guy created the vision in the first place, but he's kind of the guy who just didn't get the hint to leave.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have 30 years of people kissing your ass. You have 30 years of people saying what you're doing is brilliant. By the time he gets to do more stuff, no one has the balls to tell George Lucas it sucks. Nobody. I mean, of course, the fans have spoken, but he and don't be wrong. When you made the original trilogy, the 30 years of accolades were well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
You made a movie that redefined storytelling. You made a movie that has defined our childhood. Because I'm 37. I mean, Star Wars came out in May of 77. I was born in June of 77.
Okay.
So I obviously I have no memory of the first two movies, but at the age of 6, I have very, very clear memory. Now, of course, this is it's the Ewok movie. I mean, as in it's the Return of the Jedi. It's the movie with Ewoks. I am the key demographic. I was a 6-year-old. I was that person. After the movie, we went to Burger King and I got Return of the Jedi glass. The glasses that you get. With the Happy Meal. The drinking glasses. So it's I was molded to be a fan of Star Wars, and once again, and for 30 years from 1983 to 1999, I would have kissed George Lucas's ass. I would have said, yes, you have made groundbreaking movies that have defined my childhood. Unfortunately, by the time 1999 came around, when he's like, I'm going to write about trade disputes, no one sat down and said, George, no, no one wants to see Alien Congress.
Well, it was kind of also like a weird time though too. Like, I mean, all this everything media, everything represents the times.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of the 90s, what happened in the 90s that was just that was incredible. Everything look at the music. It was so, I mean, not to knock 90s music, but everything was look at the entire style of grunge. It was real just it was really just in this weird everybody was kind of in this weird depression state, but we didn't know where we were going. Nothing was really happening.
Mm-hmm.
So George Lucas kind of sat down and was like, okay, well, why don't I just make something as boring as the 90s?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I would say in a weird way the opposite. The 90s were kind of the extreme, as an XTREME, where when you took when trying to cash in on extreme, kids, skateboard.
Yeah.
That's how do we appeal to the kids, with the fucking, a dog that skateboards.
I do love me a dog that skateboards.
I'm trying. What's the name of that? It's from The Simpsons. That that
Poochie.
Poochie. You know what I'm saying? Where when I think of the '90s, I think of Poochie, where it's like, how do we market this extreme? Where then you took saying that visually the fucking lightsaber battle. I mean, where you took where we've never saw anything like that, and they go and they make this thing where it looks like ballet. It looks like, extreme ballet. You know what I'm saying? It looks like something so ridiculously choreographed, especially in a time where, cable fighting or whatever you want to call that, was a deal, and then, and you enhance it with, CGI, and that's the whole thing, I guess, and that's the whole thing, because the movie does kind of switch tones, where, like it was pointed out by Red Letter Media, where these movies, the speaking parts are incredibly dull, and then you have a ridiculous action scene, you have, dull speaking, a CGI 30,000 soldiers on the field and 1 million spaceships flowing through the sky, crashing into one another. And once again, I think J.J. Abrams is, and it's funny because I have a love-hate relationship with J.J. Abrams. Certain things, oddly enough, and I don't, you may not agree with me, I liked Lost. I really did. I loved Fringe.
I really never watched either of those shows, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of just like, I'm not gonna.
Well, Fringe is one of those deals where, like you said, it took episodes to get. The first season was a Monster of the Week show. What monster are we fighting this week?
Okay.
Season 2 kind of floundered a little bit. Season 3, in my opinion, was like someone sat back and, the way like Marvel is doing right now, someone sat back and go, okay, this is what we have. Let's weave this into a fucking wonderful tapestry of beauty, and let's make the guy that farted in season 3, episode 1, season 1, episode 3. Let's explain why that guy farted. Saying someone step back and there'll be a whole episode on the burger that he ate that morning and the midi-chlorians in his system. Someone sat back and said, okay, I don't know what they say. They sat back and said, okay, we're not doing that great. But someone said, remember that one thing that looked kind of cool? Let's kind of explain why that thing was there. And it was fucking brilliant. Season 3 of Fringe was fucking fantastic. And then unfortunately season 4 and season 5, they just couldn't catch that. Season 4 is like, they got to that point where like, there's a prophecy. Well, okay, no, not really. They spent like the whole season building up this one thing that there was absolutely no way they could pay off this incredible build up. And then season 5 tried to rectify that. And by the time now don't get me wrong, when they got to the end and they said, okay, this is the end, let's really, really wrap up, let's really try to tie up all the loose ends. They kind of redeemed themselves a little bit at the end of season 5. It's so funny how like season 3 was awesome and then season 4 was just like, they were trying to capture that the wonder that they made that was made of season 3. And like I said, season 1 was Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
And then like like I said, whoever was in charge of season 3, was a genius. It was brilliant. And Lost. I mean, people, Lost is one of those shows where like it really is dividing. You can love it or hate it. And it was one of those deals where I watched it. I started watching it on Hulu, and I liked it so much. For episodes that I was getting for free, I went and I bought the box set.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was watching. Now, mind you, you can't go on Hulu now and watch it. At least as of recording this now, it's not like you go now because now it's like part of Hulu Plus. Like now that they realize, we can make money off this. And now you have to pay to watch a show that a lot of people don't like. And it was one of those deals where and now even they've come out and said the writers had no idea where the fuck they were going. The writers had said, look, we threw what we threw at the wall and saw what's stuck. We worked with what's stuck. And then even then they didn't work with what's stuck because as soon as you answer, it was one of those shows, as soon as you answer one question, 2 more pop up. So I could understand how people were infuriated by Lost. It's not a clear cut show. And and this is J.J. Abrams' work. Cloverfield, I hated Cloverfield.
That was J.J. Abrams?
Yeah.
I hated Cloverfield.
That was purely, and that's, I hated 8mm. Or 8mm?
Was it? Yeah.
Not to confuse with like 9mm, which was like the Nicolas Cage snuff film movie.
I was going to say, like, wait.
I'm trying to, I'm sorry, not 8mm, Super 8. Super 8's the name of the movie.
Okay, I never saw the Super 8.
Yeah, and Super 8 is J.J. Abrams saying, let's make E.T. Super 8 was J.J. Abrams' love letter to Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
And what a fucking horrible, it's like, just go rent E.T. You know what I'm saying? But but mind you, Star Trek 1, or should I say, the reboot Star Trek, loved it. The one with Benedict Cumberbatch is fucking. I don't know. Did you see Star Trek Into Darkness? I don't. Before I spoil it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Khan. Ugh. I wanted to fucking put my fist to the screen. So it's like, he's made shows that I love. He's made one good movie. Well, I mean, that's horrible to say. I mean, he's made these movies that I get other people like. I mean, like I said, of all his movies, I only like Star Trek Into Darkness. And hopefully, what he's done with Star Trek Into Darkness, he'll do with Star Wars. But I'm saying, when you leave him to his own devices, like I said, Super 8 sucked. Cloverfield sucked. And I mean, visually wonderful movies. I mean, except for the fact that Cloverfield was supposed to, was given. Mind you, I was still married at the time, and my ex-wife gets motion sickness. She's one of those people, and she couldn't watch the movie. Like she literally said, "I have to close my eyes. I can't." Why? Literally. Luckily, she wasn't one of those people that like, we have to leave the movie theater. I'll never get why people like leave movie theaters, but
jeez,
I just don't if I'm paying money, I'm gonna fucking if I don't, unless I got a refund. If I got my money back, that's another story. But if I can't get my money back, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna plod through this fucking nonsense. So I think it's gonna be good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm keying up the trailer right now just to kind of refresh myself. And we're going a little long, but we haven't had an episode in like 2 weeks. So okay, so right, I'm watching it, and of course it's still dark. Okay, we see Tatooine right now, and of course it's been.
You hear the throat cancer talk.
Which has been revealed that it is Andy Serkis, the same guy who's given us Gollum, King Kong, but he didn't do the voice of King Kong. And it's so weird because Andy Serkis, they keep announcing that he's going to be in this movie, but they haven't announced what he is. I'm saying, for a guy who's made his biggest chops as a motion capture actor. I mean, he's been announced he's going to be in the Age of Ultron movie. I mean, you see his, that's like, it's so weird to see him. Oh, there's Andy Serkis as an actual character and not a CGI. And Star Wars, that is known for fucking being over the head with CGI. I wonder what he's going to be in this movie. But there's been an awakening. Have you felt it? Okay, I unpaused it. And then boom, we got Bodega, whatever the hell, Boyega. That's horrible that I don't know his name. But I haven't seen Attack the Block. I believe he was in that movie Attack the Block, which people loved. Are you familiar at all? Have you seen it?
No, I'm not actually.
But you get the premise of it. It's like aliens attack like a ghetto.
No, actually, I've never even heard of the film.
Oh yeah, no, it's a British movie, and I saw like the first like half an hour of it, and then unfortunately I kind of like had to do other things, so I stopped watching it. It sounds like a brilliant idea. Aliens attack like what's for all intents and purposes a ghetto, but a British ghetto. But these kids, they're so used to their violent lifestyle that like, they have no problem fighting aliens because, their average daily lives are fucking so full of drama and stuff like that. So that's kind of how he got his, start. So we got this, Boyega character. He's stumbling around. Okay, now if you notice, the back of his stormtrooper outfit it's not the traditional stormtrooper outfit that where it looks like it has like valves and vents on the back. It's sort of a black dot. Which
possibly something like magnetic.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you just like take your gun and just
or like maybe like a magnetic backpack too, or something. I don't know, maybe something.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, if you're wearing so you don't have to like burden yourself with straps. Just don't lean on any metal walls.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could just be talking on my ass here too.
Okay, so I fast forward a little bit, and here we go. I'm not feeling this hamster ball droid. I'm not, or soccer ball droid.
I saw a GIF online. Somebody had put like googly eyes on it, and it was probably my favorite thing.
And it's rolling through the desert where there's, once again, with this being, you have to hazard to guess that it's Tatooine. Big giant engines in the background, which, with the universe being the way it is, those are probably pod racing engines. I mean, if it's Tatooine, but then again, Tatooine's been known for just having all types of scum and villainy, so those could be jets of anything. But I'm willing to bet money on it. Those are like pod racing engines in the background. Okay, we show the stormtroopers. Now I'm going to pause it there for a split second. If you notice, one of the stormtroopers is significantly shorter than the rest, which if you look, like I said, you see other stormtroopers. Now, of course, this is later on in the universe where they're not clones anymore. There's people that have actually been recruited, or people who've actually submitted their, like Luke says, I submitted my, for the Empire, for the Academy. So these aren't, it's not going to be the same actor that played Jango Fett. It's these are people who have volunteered for the Empire, or I don't want to volunteer. Do they get paid? I'm assuming they get paid. So I'm willing to hazard to guess that maybe he's not a stormtrooper originally, or something like that. Maybe I'm reading way too into it. Maybe it's just a short actor, but. If you look at the stormtroopers, there's one guy is significantly smaller, and he happens to be in the middle, and I'm assuming that, us as an audience, we're looking at towards the middle of the screen. And then and once again, maybe I'm reading way too into it. It's slightly reminiscent of when Luke and Han wore stormtrooper armor, and Princess Leia says, "Aren't you a little too short to be a stormtrooper?" So once again, I could be reading way too into it. They got cool guns that have like power bars on it, like light up bars or whatever. Which I don't know if it's a battery reader. It just reminds me of the cool laser tag guns from the 80s. Okay, so now the door opens, but you really can't see. I'm going to rewind that for a second because I think you're supposed to see something there when the door opens. Okay, no, okay, cool. Okay, you really can't see. All right, so now we got the woman that is rumored, and I guess this is a spoiler, I don't know, it's supposed to be rumored to be the daughter of Han and Leia. That's what the rumor's saying. Wearing kind of like desert gear. If you look at her goggles, it looks like it could be an old stormtrooper helmet that she repurposed to be the goggles.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, which, and then, she obviously is like a scavenger type of person. She's driving the big popsicle,
yeah,
racer or whatever. Not a racer, but okay. Now we got X-Wings. Now, of course, here's a movie called Star Wars. We've seen plenty of wars in the stars. Pretty much every movie has a outer space battle. Now we're seeing X-Wings in low altitude flight, which, we haven't seen in any of the movies.
Yeah.
I think J.J. Abrams said, what can we make that? Because obviously when they made these movies, they're like, okay, we have an ice planet. We have a water planet. We have a desert planet. Okay, what do we do next? Okay, space, space could be space. But I think they said, okay, what can we do that's different with the X-Wings? Let's have them do low altitude flight. To the point where they're just above the water and the water's fucking kicking up a spray. That's fucking awesome. And of course, I'm a little biased because I just like Star Wars. Okay, now we have some generic Sith character. I'm assuming a Sith because he's wearing dark clothes. But then again, Luke's wore dark robes in Empire. The Return of the Jedi. Then he whips out the lightsaber. Boom! It's not a proper lightsaber. It looks a little fiery. It looks like it's not that perfect fluorescent tube.
Looks a lot more chaotic. It really looks like unstable, just raw energy.
Yeah, and then you got the two. Obviously, the one that a lot of people are controversial. A lot of people don't like, or it's supposed to be a broadsword hand guards.
People are idiots. Like, I'm gonna be flat out. If you hate that sword, you're an idiot. Because realistically, if little, like, even if they are impractical, like that, those two little guards, that's what's ruining this film for you. Two little impractical fucking guards coming off of the fucking lightsaber. That's ruining this film for you. Not the giant walkers that are fucking one-sided and get ruined by fucking tow cables and rednecks and fucking... No, you're ruined by this?
And I like the Stephen Colbert theory that it's all one beam. Oh, it's all,
yeah.
So it's not like it's not two little mini lightsabers that on the end of one big one. And that would make, and especially that it looks all flamey and staticky, that would make sense. Almost to the extent that maybe those are kind of like exhaust ports, for the lack of a better term. It's kind of like if you took even like if you took a gunshot, when you look at a bullet leaving a gun, and if you were to kind of direct that, if you had two kind of pipes at the end of a gun turret or whatever, like you would see blasts coming out sideways or up and down. and it does make sense. I mean, if you're gonna have flame shooting out, maybe you should use an exhaust port. And when you see guys clashing lightsabers, you've never seen anyone. Oh well, why don't I just keep going down and slice the guy's fucking hand off? Of course, once again, you're playing a deadly battle of chess. Okay, so then. And of course, what I would think would be the money shot of the whole thing, the Millennium Falcon, once again in low altitude combat, kind of giving us a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Dizzying. I guess if you don't like Cloverfield and that gave you motion sickness, watching that scene would definitely give you motion sickness. And then it kind of goes, December 2015, and then there's this. You hear the lightsaber, which has been rumored online to be the exact. They say it's the sound effect of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, as opposed to other lightsabers. A lot of people, and then there's even and once again spoilers or speculation. We never officially found out what happened to other than the expanded universe, which if they thrown out the window. We never found out what happens to the lightsaber that's in Luke's hand that gets sliced off by Darth Vader. That's never addressed in Return of the Jedi. He loses his hand and a lightsaber. You think that would be kind of important? You think he would kind of say, "Hey guys, can we find out where that can we find out where?" Because that was up.
Because that was his dad's lightsaber too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was and plus that's the one he learned on, and it would be an important thing to him.
Yeah, and no, it never because he makes his own lightsaber in Return of the Jedi, and then Darth Vader comments on it. You've made your own lightsaber that means you're now a Jedi or whatever. No one has ever followed up. I think if I lost one of and if I lost my hand, I think I would go look too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think I would use the Force and go find my hand. I'm just saying. So that's about it. I think we're gonna wrap it up now. We're right at the 4.5 mark. If people wanted to reach out to you on social media or anything like that, how could they reach you, Chris?
They can reach me at Buddy V at DeviantArt. They can also reach me at Buddy V at Tumblr, or they can just look me up on at Christopher Vangelis at Facebook. So.
You said Buddy V, BUDDV?
Yeah, -V.
Oh, Buddy -V. Okay.
Yeah, pardon me.
And then also, just we didn't even get into it, but you are an artist.
Oh, yeah. I'm a
focusing on comic book style. I guess would be the best way to put it. Or
comic book, comic artist. Wannabe comic artist. One of the guys who fakes it till he makes it.
Standing just outside the gate.
Standing outside the gate.
The gatekeeper. Let me in. So who knows, guys? You may be listening to a future artist, a future paid professional artist that you can say, "Hey, I heard him on podcast."
Yeah. Also, here, just before I forget, here's the actual googly eye gif.
Okay. Someone went through painstakingly animating these eyes that do go with the bouncing of the droid's head. I'm wondering, is this whole movie going to be him of that droid? I mean, if this is a main character, like an R2-D2, is it going to be a constant? Because you can't. How do you market that as a toy? How do you sell a rolling robot? I mean, it's cute, but how do kids play with this toy that?
I'm guessing it's got a.
I mean, that is probably going to have a flat bottom, but I'm just saying is that, you can't practically, you're just going to disappoint a ton of kids when they have
it's got that, unless there's a ring that has a little, nudge for the head to fit on, little nail on for the head to kind of, fit onto that, kind of the ball rolls within it. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm hoping, and this is, to use all this technology that we got from the Transformers, I'm hoping that this is some sort. It maybe that ball transforms into a more traditional astromech droid body. Saying this is just like, since the original R2-D2 was so impractical.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go across a desert, where that's the body, and then it just and transforms into a ball, so he can go for long distances. Just so I guess it kind of solves the whole, because when you have R2-D2 in the swamps and R2-D2 in the desert, how does R2-D2 get here, and how and of course they kind of hinted oh, he has little jets on his legs, but now they just said fuck it, it turns into a ball. Okay. How did he get there? He turned into a fucking ball and rolled up there. So
Yeah.
So to listeners of the show, you can visit 2strangers1podcast.net. I keep forgetting to renew my website, so they always get right now it's 2strangers1podcast.net. There you'll find links to everything. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/2strangers1podcast. You can follow the links there to subscribe to us on iTunes if you have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod. You can go back and listen to episodes from 2.5 years ago if you chose to. If you are on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, you can follow us at Stranger Podcast, at the little A squiggly circle A, whatever the hell you want to call it, Stranger Podcast. If you don't have an iPhone, iPad, or iPod, you can follow us. You can download episodes us on the Stitcher app for Android devices. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app. Pretty much any podcast worth listening to. This American Life, Mark Maron, Kevin Smith's Modcast, Chris Hardwick's The Nerdist, any podcast worth listening. And of course, our brother podcast, the Tanami Faithful. You can catch them all on the Stitcher app. That's about it. I can't believe I'm still rambling on here. We certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
Don't be a stranger. Bye.
Take it easy.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia. It's Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her. Fucking, she's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. It's just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to the show. I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. And if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker,
I
and
will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudity in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangerspodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangerspodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.